come at once. We need you in the war room right away.
This might not be the continuation of the emotional turmoil that we were left with last episode, but I think they make it work just fine. The writers do a good job of showing Glimmer dealing with that loss and getting some semblance of closure for Angela's death. And yes, I know Angela isn't dead, but functionally she is dead because she's trapped between dimensions. But at the same time, I don't think they had to open continuing with the last scene. We saw them getting emotional, and I don't think we need this massive crying session across multiple scenes now.
That one!
That being said, I can see why people would find this quite jarring.
At Glimmer's coronation, we will be serving ice cream cake.
To having the characters act, well, just not depressed.
Me, Queen Glimmer. Ugh, it sounds so weird.
It's not season 3 finale, but you can tell that Glimmer is affected by her mother's loss with these periodic moments.
I just never thought it would actually happen.
All the tears and the big sadness is done, but she is still, I don't want to say depressed. Well, like, she still has this heavy feeling of, wow, my mother is gone. And is right now just trying to grapple with it and trying to learn how to be okay with that feeling.
Yeah, you're right. We've got this. Do I look okay?
Like a queen.
Like you're grown up and mature. Really, I feel like that's the idea behind Glimmer's new outfit. Her hair looks less like someone chucked a water balloon filled with paint at the back of her head, and is definitely invoking this sense of her mother in it too. And she added this band over her forehead, even as an earring reminiscent of her mother's.
I'm worried about Glimmer.
Must be hard celebrating, what with Angela being gone.
It's her coronation. This should be a perfect day for Glimmer.
Yeah, there's obviously a time skip between the season 3 finale and this episode, because there's no way they decided to just immediately have Glimmer's coronation the day after her mother died. And Bow and Dora's attempts trying to make this day special is nice to watch and adorable, but, you know, ultimately futile as her mother is gone, and this is literally a ceremony about handing off governance away from her, plus the leadership position in the war that's still going on.
So, the ceremony begins with the ritual quest.
Ooh, there's a quest. We're great at quests.
So apparently Glimmer needs to go on a quest to forge her connection to the Moonstone?
The Moonstone's elemental power has been balanced between you and your mother since you were born.
So she never had one before?
But now, with her absence...
So, about that quest!
Thank you, Bo.
You really
Don't you worry about a thing. I am a legendary party planner.
She says that, but Casta goes along with Glimmer's suggestion to have Mermista be the florist,
Wow, how did you know? Flower arranging is my passion.
then proceeds to not catch her sarcasm as Perfuma in the background, you know, the princess whose whole thing is growing plants and we've seen multiple times her create these bouquets of flowers, is right there. And what, does Casta not know what Perfuma's whole shtick is? And that's what the Bright Moon gang is up to, trying to make this coronation thing special for Glimmer, whilst the reason for having it just hangs over it all, and they keep trying to just tiptoe around it. All the while you can tell it's just slowly grating at Glimmer. Meanwhile, on the other side of the continent, a place where my attempts to forge a timeline of events dies once more.
Hordak, our troops are just sitting around here. What are we waiting for?
I refuse to believe Catra just remained apart and never attacked for more than a week, so what's been happening in the past few days since the whole portal fiasco?
We need to talk about plans for...
Plans.
Hordak, it makes sense for him to just be sitting around because he's still depressed about Entrapta, but Catra, she doesn't seem the type to just not do anything. Hordak here is also a bit doubtful of Catra because, you know, she almost ended the world.
Whatever. It worked out for us, didn't it?
How could she not tell that after Entrapta's quote-unquote betrayal and her near ending of the world, now is not the time to be snippy with this guy?
The rebellion's a mess. Their queen is gone. Now's our chance to gain the upper hand.
I mean, yeah, that is a serious situation. They should be taking advantage of it.
And how are we going to do that when you couldn't even prevent the rebellion from infiltrating the Fright Zone?
You'd think after 3 seasons, Catra would have seen the writing on the wall here and backed off, or just eased off a bit.
Yeah, like I said before, it was Entrapta.
Catra. There is no way Catra didn't know how close Entrapta and Hordak had become. She noticed and got jealous about it and zapped Entrapta because she knew full well the gal had enough clout to talk Hordak out of using the portal.
I told you never to mention that name in my presence.
So why did she think this was a good idea to mention that?
For a task, redouble our defenses so that no princess.
I still think she's gotten more clever, seeing that piece of First One's tech on his armor and getting to thinking. That thing only really glows when Hordak is exerting himself, and she definitely notices and puts two and two together to realize that is a power source.
Fortunately for you, my signal to Horde Prime went through.
Yeah, we know it was in the final scene of the last season.
Now, get out!
Ooh, that smile. Catch that and you know Kid gets up to something devious. Next scene we have with Catra, she's with Scorpia, and we have the first hint of the new direction her character's going in.
Hey, so I know you made a heat-of-the-moment decision, which I totally get.
That is to say, making her character even more hateable.
You didn't really want Entrapta to stay on Beast Island forever.
Scorpia. We all know Catra isn't worth it at this point, but our precious gal is just too loyal to see that.
Anyway, I was thinking we could go back and get her. I mean, she is our friend.
Catra didn't stop being unhinged. Just because it isn't readily apparent anymore doesn't mean she's not mentally unbalanced still.
Entrapta betrayed us and got what she deserved.
Just look at how Catra tries to justify sending Entrapta away to die on an island she knows to be a hellish place. She is still not in a right state of mind.
But she didn't betray us. She just wanted to save us from the portal. And she was right. If Adora had
Adora was right has essentially become a trigger phrase for her.
shut it down.
Entrapta betrayed Hordak.
See what I mean?
As for the portal, it left the rebellion in shambles.
At this point, Catra has become completely consumed with her desire for revenge against Adora, that she's completely thrown everything else to the wayside and using whatever mental arithmetic she can to justify any of her actions.
And that means it worked. Got it? Good. Now get this place cleared out.
The writers do not need to do much to have us hate Catra now. I well and truly have lost all sympathy for her, and it's just a waiting game at this point, just to see how long until she breaks the Scorpia's adorable little heart.
It's okay. You can come out. Hey there, Emily.
And oh boy, I just knew it was gonna be bad when that inevitably happened.
Don't worry. I won't let anything happen to you.
As for the Bright Moon Gain, until the quest starts, I have nothing to say I haven't already said. Everyone is trying their best to make the stage special for Glimmer, although it's still ruined because she can't take her mind off Angela's death, of course.
Well, it took some searching, but we finally found the royal coronation robe.
What the? Were the last queens like giants or something? Or Marie Antoinette? They're all trying to be supportive and that's good, but being there for someone doesn't mean things get better. It just means they have someone there to have their back. Losing a family member sucks, especially since her dad is already seen as dead, and Glimmer is essentially one of the last of her family left other than Casta. And I would like to mention that the last talk Glimmer had with her mother was an argument. That can weigh heavily on a person. Other than that, Shadow Weaver has been elevated to guest rather than prisoner. Then, some time passes and then the ceremony begins for the quest. And, they could have just left a mostly faceless mob here, but I'm glad they took the time to, include characters we've seen before. It's a tiny piece of effort, but it's one I can appreciate.
So quest! Got a quest!
So the quest begins and...
Can we just do this, please? I don't want to think about flowers or colors or stupid decisions.
all the emotional turmoil Glimmer had gushes out a bit here.
And we're bad at quests. So, how deep down do you think we are?
Okay, what's with you guys?
She's been dwelling with the loss of her mother for so long, but bottling it up and not talking about it.
Stop acting like this!
Like what?
Like this!
Well, it just causes it all to explode here. It's all a very human reaction. Glimmer hasn't just moved on from Angela's death. It doesn't work that way.
Glimmer, we're just...
Whatever! None of this even matters!
It still deeply affects her, and it appears that people acting so casual about it and trying not to, open that wound really helped to boil it up in anger.
Wait, look.
Continuing onwards.
Look!
For the lantern.
Not so fast, says the frickin' monster that's here. for
The coronation scroll didn't mention a giant angry monster living in the tunnels under bright moon.
some reason. Why would they have the future monarchs fight a giant monster with at best one person to act as quote-unquote witness?
It was confusingly worded.
Why would someone word fighting a giant monster confusing? Oh, forget it. Glimmer unfortunately can't teleport them out of there because she hasn't been recharging, refusing to take on all of the power of the Moonstone.
It would mean admitting that she's really gone.
And finally laying out all her feelings to bear.
Everyone is already acting like she doesn't matter. Like no one remembers her.
Yeah, there's the emotional scene we wanted.
No one cares. We're having a coronation because she's gone.
I'm fine with the fact it's 3/4 towards the end of the episode because what she says feels a bit more impactful with everything that's happened before.
And everyone is acting like it's a fun party, and it's not.
They were all just trying to help, trying not to open any fresh wounds, incredibly fresh wounds. But it wasn't exactly helpful because, well, a lack of communication, really.
Of course it's not. I just thought talking about her.
That is the source of many Glimmer's issues now that I think about it, and it is solved thanks to communication. They beat the Guardian, fulfilling the action quota for this episode. It would have been dumb if they failed and had to fall back. Glimmer gains the full power of the Moonstone and gets even more overpowered than she already was, ladies and gentlemen. And legit, when Glimmer raised up with those wings appearing, I honestly thought she was gonna gain flight here, which would have been points because she can teleport. How would wings garner any benefit? But now I think this is mostly just her connecting with her mother through the Moonstone one final time.
Glimmer?
I'm glad they included this for Angela's character's sake. Just some form of a send-off and really the closure Glimmer needed to move forwards. Getting to hear from her mother just one final time. One last memory to be gifted to her before, they have to get back to that whole war situation. Being able to return back to the palace and actually getting to enjoy the ceremony there for real this time. Her mother may be gone, but at least not forgotten, and that's what seems to matter to Glimmer the most.
We wanted it to be perfect for you. We worked together to finish.
That was my idea.
Oh, Mermista, I'm sure you did. Glimmer's speech here is actually pretty important to understanding some of her actions this season, as she personally has lost 2 parents to the Horde and has seen the terror they inflict on people and is not going to let that stand anymore. Openly declaring that they're going to go out there and take out the Horde once and for all. Catra on the other side of the spectrum.
Hey, Hordak.
Caught in the light, she easily takes out that one weakness that I'm sure Hordak will make sure to rectify later, because he's smart like that, right?
Missing something? Looks like you're ready to listen.
Not gonna use the reckless counter here, as Catra has a plan and reason to be doing this, and it makes sense for her motivations.
Hey, cheer up, boss. Big bad Horde Prime got your signal.
She needs Hordak to be on the same page for her revenge to work out.
Do you want to conquer Etheria before he gets here?
And knows exactly what she needs to say and do in order to get that done.
He doesn't sound like the type to accept failure.
Except, unlike the last time she did this, she acts like the total female dog.
We're done with your little vanity projects.
Just so the writers can really emphasize just where her character is going this season.
It's time to crush the rebellion for good, and you're going to help me do that.
Jeesh.
I think you and I are going to do great things together.
All in all, I really enjoyed how they handled Angela's death and how the characters are going to move forwards with that in mind. It was well done in my book, and everyone acted very human and in character for themselves. So that was episode 1 for season 4 of Overanalyzing She-Ra. If you like this video and want to see more, then hit that thumbs up and the subscribe button and bell to get notifications about the next episode. I'll try to update this series every Thursday, so please share with other fans, and also check out my channel for my video essays, music analysis, and complex character series. You might find them enjoyable as well.